Hello everybody, this is Daniel with Daniel's Bullion Coins. So I was surfing the YouTube watching coin and bullion YouTube channels, and I stumbled upon one that I just have to respond to. I'm not going to name them because I'm going to be critical of the video, but I do want to say that I appreciate all of these guys that go to the trouble and the effort to make a video and put it up there. You really put yourself out there, and I appreciate it. But when information is just, in my opinion, wrong, or it gives me something to think about, and I want to be sure that I'm on the right track, I like to look at consenting opinions and debate them, so that I can be sure that I'm making the right moves and making the right decisions, and that I haven't gotten off track. So we know that the dollar is in trouble. It's inflating. You know, today's the 4th of July, and steaks and meat are up 35% year over year inflation. And I can go on and on about the problems the dollar is having. But this fella said that he felt like the dollar nobody will go to a digital currency willingly, that will put up a big fuss and a stink, and it just won't happen because Americans are resilient to that type of process. And I would say that I think Americans are completely opposite. When you look at the way I see people wearing a mask in their car riding down the road by themselves. They just gravitated to the mask, and they just gravitated to the in your arm. They just willingly, go and get 4 and 5, even though there are consequences. There's heart problems and all these things that are happening with the in your arm scenario. So I don't think that people will put up any kind of fuss, especially if they are hungry. And they didn't put up any fuss. This was an unelected official that mandated all of these masks and medicine and all of this that we're supposed to have. I think, and he was much more profit motivated. You look at where his money comes from and where he benefits from. There's underlying profit for him. So I think that that's just not true. I think that when hunger and inflation and the government comes out and says this will solve all of our problems, this will protect you, give up some of your liberty for security, I think people will go for it right away. So that was the first point, that he was trying to argue that we won't go digital because Americans just won't fall for it. But I don't agree with that. Second one was that Chuck Schwab, I'm saying the name wrong, but Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum, he does not want your small business, and I would totally disagree with that. Having owned a small business and seeing it get lost with the Obama regulations that came in, and even during the cough, all the small businesses were required to be closed, while the mega corporations, Lowe's, Walmart, were all still open. You could go into Walmart, but you couldn't go into your local hardware store, which eventually led to our little hardware store being closed. And I was working with Home Depot back at the beginning of the Obama administration, and the first thing they did was close down by regulation on my small business and turn it over to a corporation. A large corporation came in and took over. And of course, they offered me my job back at about 1/10 of my original salary. So that was exciting to live through. So, while Chuck Schwab may be a huge figure in the World Economic Forum, and he may not be thinking about your small business, but ultimately they've got to get rid of the independent person and have you dependent on the government to make this plan work, to switch to digital. So I would disagree with that. I would say that small businesses are being wiped out systematically to have us all be dependent. Even our food is not grown locally. We are super dependent on the mega farms and the we've strayed from true 100% fertilizer to synthetic fertilizer, and we've become super dependent on synthetic fertilizers and GMO seeds. So we're the Charles Schwab, that's it. Charles Schwab scenario that he doesn't want your small business is just not true for in a microeconomic sense. The number 3 thing I noticed is he said that these people, YouTubers and gold and silver sellers, coin shops, we have Daniel's Bullion coins, and I have a YouTube. They are just selling you a product, and people are coming in and putting it on a credit card or taking out a loan against their house and stocking up on silver, thinking it's the next get rich quick thing. And all the videos that I've watched, including this one, say, do not do this. This is not financial advice. Put 10%, 5% of your total investment money. So that's not your rent money. That's not your safety net money. It's your investment money. And just put a portion of that into gold and silver as a hedge. And when somebody goes out and mortgages the house or takes out a loan and buys silver as the next get rich quick, that's their fault. It's not the YouTuber's fault. It's not the coin shop's fault. I can't stop people from coming in and spending their last dime, their last dollar on silver dimes. And I can't, but here on YouTube, everybody always says this is not financial advice, and we're trying to keep you all from making a foolish decision. It's insurance against a collapsing dollar. So I felt like he was wrong on that point there, that people are making the mistake, not the coin dealer. We're trying to warn you for what's coming. Now, we don't know if it's a year away, 10 years away. It may be my kids have to deal with it, but I'm going to leave something for them to deal with it, to live through it comfortably. The 4th one was the dollar has strength, or the dollar has the highest value, and this has got to be the largest misconception that I can possibly imagine. Is the dollar's being compared to collapsing currencies. The yen and the renminbi and all these currencies are absolutely falling off a cliff. Hyperinflation in their countries, stimulus packages, whatever, and the dollar's being compared to those. So it's going off a cliff also. It's a Thelma and Louise situation right off the cliff. It's just that the dollar is driving, so therefore it's stronger. That's the way that works. And then he used number 5 was the comparison that Russia and the numbers, whether you look at GDP or the amount of gold they have or their population, their numbers are a tenth of what our numbers are here in the US. But what this person doesn't realize is Russia and China and the BRICS and some of these other countries are quickly working together to produce an agreement amongst all of these 10 nations. And combined, their GDP combined, their gold holdings combined, their population combined, all of these things combined are double what the US is. So as the world is leaving the Eastern and the BRICS nation and Russia, they're all leaving the dollar, they're forming their own currency, and they are twice as strong as the US. So I would disagree on his thinking that Russia is just a small competitor and they can never overtake us. But when they all join together, they're twice as strong as us. Well, that was just a quick wrap up. I don't want to tear somebody down. I'm not attacking. I just want to learn. And maybe somebody will hear my responses to what this fellow was saying. I tried to give his point and my point. I would really appreciate your point. So leave it in the comments. Ask a question. Show me where I'm wrong, that we are not headed for trouble when it comes to the US dollar. Thank you so much for your time.